Catechism of the Catholic Church, Part 4, Christian Prayer, Chapter 1, The Revelation of Prayer, the Universal Call to Prayer, number 2566. Man is in search of God. In the act of creation, God calls every being from nothingness into existence. Crowned with glory and honor, man is, after the angels, capable of acknowledging how majestic is the name of the Lord in all the earth. Psalm 8. Even after losing through his sin his likeness to God, man remains an image of his Creator and retains the desire for the one who calls him into existence. All religions bear witness to man's essential search for God. Acts chapter 17, verse 27. God calls man first. Man may forget his Creator or hide far from his face. He may run after idols or accuse the deity of having abandoned him. Yet, the living and true God tirelessly calls each person to that mysterious encounter known as prayer. In prayer, the faithful God's initiative of love always comes first. Our own first step is always a response. As God gradually reveals himself and reveals man to himself, prayer appears as a reciprocal call, a covenant drama. Through words and actions, this drama engages the heart. It unfolds throughout the whole history of salvation. Article 1 in the Old Testament. In the Old Testament, the revelation of prayer comes between the fall and the restoration of man, that is, between God's sorrowful call to his first children, "Where are you? What is this that you have done?" Genesis chapter 3. Prayer is bound up with human history, for it is the relationship with God in historical events. Creation, source of prayer. Prayer is lived in the first place, beginning with the realities of creation. The first 9 chapters of Genesis describe this relationship with God as an offering of the firstborn of Abel's flock, as the invocation of the divine name at the time of Enosh, and as walking with God. Noah's offering is pleasing to God, who blesses him, and through him all creation, because his heart was upright and undivided. Noah, like Enosh before him, walks with God. This kind of prayer is lived by many righteous people in all religions. In his indefectible covenant with every living creature, God has always called people to prayer. But it is above all, beginning with our father Abraham, that prayer is revealed in the Old Testament. God's promise and the prayer of faith. When God calls him, Abraham goes forth as the Lord had told him. Abraham's heart is entirely submissive to the word, and so he obeys. Such attentiveness of the heart, whose decisions are made according to God's will, is essential to prayer, while the words used count only in relation to it. Abraham's prayer is expressed first by deeds. A man of silence, he constructs an altar to the Lord at each stage of his journey. Only later does Abraham's first prayer in words appear, a veiled complaint reminding God of his promises which seem unfulfilled. Genesis chapter 15. Thus, one aspect of the drama of prayer appears from the beginning, the test of faith in the fidelity of God. Because Abraham believed in God and walked in his presence and in covenant with him, the patriarch is ready to welcome a mysterious guest into his tent. Abraham's remarkable hospitality at Mamre foreshadows the annunciation of the true son of the promise. Genesis chapter 18, Luke chapter 1. After that, once God had confided his plan, Abraham's heart is attuned to his Lord's compassion for men, and he dares to intercede for them with bold confidence. Genesis chapter 18. As a final stage in the purification of his faith, Abraham, who had received the promises, see Hebrews chapter 11 verse 17, is asked to sacrifice the son God had given him. Abraham's faith does not weaken. God himself will provide the lamb for a burnt offering. For he considered that God was able to raise men even from the dead. Genesis chapter 22, Hebrews chapter 11 verse 19. And so the Father of believers is conformed to the likeness of the Father, who will not spare his own Son, but will deliver him up for us all. Romans chapter 8 verse 32. Prayer restores man to God's likeness and enables him to share in the power of God's love that saves the multitude. Romans chapter 8 verse 16 to 21. God renews his promise to Jacob, the ancestor of the 12 tribes of Israel. Genesis chapter 28. Before confronting his elder brother Esau, Jacob wrestles all night with a mysterious figure who refuses to reveal his name, but who blesses him before leaving him at dawn. From this account, the spiritual tradition of the Church has retained the symbol of prayer as a battle of faith and as the triumph of perseverance. Genesis chapter 32 verse 24 to 30 and Luke chapter 18 verse 1 to 8.